I was really pleased with tonight's game. We got asked maybe 4 or 5 times leading up, about a let down, and you can't shield your guys from people asking and talking about it, and it's when you watch a game like Ball State and Notre Dame, I think it really sends a message to your players, and so I texted those guys last night that didn't want that to happen to them, and I thought from the very beginning we were ready to go, and Kent State's got a very talented team, and when they get their leading scorer back from injury, I expect them to have a really good year. Rob does a great job.
Chris, the season low 9 turnovers tonight. Do you think that there was a vast difference in mentality or just execution from the last game to this one, or just maybe your emphasis is kicking in and guys are taking care of the ball the better?
No, I think it's a totally different game. I mean, they pressed the entire second half. They would run and jump. They send 2 guys after the ball. They're flying through passing lanes. I mean, Kent State doesn't play that way. So the only turnovers that we're going to make against Kent are going to be ones that, we're lazy with the ball, or we get too aggressive and throw a pass that's not necessarily open. It's 2 different games. It's a lot harder to take care of the ball against Cincinnati than the way they play versus how Kent plays.
Chris, JP's obviously contributing a lot of different ways. Seems lately that the scoring hasn't been there. Is it more a case of other guys are picking up the load there, and he's contributing in other ways on the floor? What's kind of contributing to?
Well, he didn't take a whole lot of shots tonight. He passed the ball. It's hard sometimes when you get in foul trouble and you're sort of out of a rhythm. I know he wanted to stay in the first half, but we felt like, if it becomes a tight game, you don't want to have, one of your best players on the bench in the second half. So, we did play him with 2 fouls, but, I think when you get to sometimes, it takes your aggressiveness away a little bit. And, he's doing what the game tells him. He drives in there, and 2 guys collapse, and he makes the right play. And then he had a couple layups that, stayed on the front of the rim and fell off, and guys tip it in. So, I think he he'll have games where he gets 20, and he'll have games where he gets, more 3 attempts. And, it's hard to argue when your team scores 96 points. And, JP is a really unselfish player. He cares about us winning. And he's a huge part of our offense, whether he's scoring or not.
The game was, I think, a 5-point game in the first half when you guys really started to pull away. You went on that run at the end of the first half and to start the second half. What did you see as the difference for you guys, in those 2?
That's a heck of a ringtone. Bells on bobtails ring.
So what do you think the difference was at the end of the first?
Well, I thought our subs, our freshmen, Paul, Naj, and I thought they really gave us really good energy on the defensive end. You got that little separation there. We had a 3 at half on Karam's pick and pop that could have put it up to 19, but then we came out in the first 4 minutes of the second half, and I thought our starters set a much different tone defensively in the second half than they did in the first. In the first half, we set the tone offensively. We made some shots, and Trey was lights out to begin the game and sort of hit him with I don't want to say a knockout punch because they cut it to 5. But we were much better offensively early. In the second half, I thought we played both ends of the floor, extremely aggressive, and built that lead to whatever it got to very early in the second half.
Coach, obviously there were a lot of fouls called, but you guys shot 24 of 25 from the line. I mean, what do you think of that?
I think it's great. I think, Paul took a little grief in the locker room because he was the one guy that missed. But, it's for us, we felt like if we can get the ball to the box, really against anybody we play, if we get it in the lane, we have such good shooters that a lot of times the defense is spread out, so it puts big guys in a situation of playing 2 versus 1. If they help up, you can dump it down. If they stay back, you got a little floater, a little bit, a little layup. And, I thought Kent State tried to come out and be really aggressive with us. And there were times where we had the ball at the top of the key and guy was right in us. And, hey, you just got to drive pressure sometimes. And it was good for us to get in the bonus so quickly because I think we have really good free throw shooters, and it makes it a lot easier on offense to know that you can get to the free throw line with a hand check with 15 minutes left in the half.
I was actually going to ask, do you recall the missed free throw?
I didn't. I saw it on the stat sheet. I can't remember it at the time, but JP and Trey were quick to remind Paul that he was the guy that missed.
Obviously, we've talked a lot about Karam over the past few weeks. Just keeps getting better and better. What does he need to do to keep up this quality of play as you get deeper into conference play and the challenges become greater? What do you see from him?
I just think he just has to continue to do what he does. He's playing with a lot of confidence. Slowly but surely, his teammates now have a ton of confidence in him, and he's doing it on both ends of the floor. He's defensively, he's rebounding. He's not the best athlete in the world, but he seems to come up with the ball on the offensive glass. As you know, he has a great touch. You trust him dribbling the ball up the floor, and I think he ignited the break one time. Eventually, Kaiser got a three because of it. So, he's very, very unique, and I think his teammates really appreciate it. I know his coaching staff does, and, he makes us a much different team, whether he plays the 4 or the 5. See you Saturday.